would still tend to be the case, is the one actually earning money and getting top up, then the whole family's universal credit will go direct to them. And again, it has been argued whether there's an inbuilt sort of gender bias here, because it's usually the biggest wage earner in the household does tend to be the man. And then what if then there are issues with the household where the man then keeps the money?
Yeah.
So, but again, you can have exemptions to this. So you can ask for people to the DWP to have this payment split. Again, I can imagine that's a particularly sensitive position if the person is too scared about it. Yeah. And again, this is where social workers or support people can come in.
And if it's the couple get told that when they're claiming as well.
Again, I'm not sure. Again, given this culture, don't tell them everything unless they ask. I'm not sure what exemptions are presented to them as possible. So often you have to ask, and that's why we produce stuff like this to make sure, if you think that's going to be an issue for you, that you ask for split payments. And again, they can make them if it's demonstrated that to pay everything to one person would cause problems. But again, that might be something that might need support with if you're going to ask for that. So yes, there is that issue there. But as I said, they can split them.
And so with all these exemptions, there would be a special form to fill in, or you just write it on a letter on the internet to them.
I think as far as I know, it's kind of done. There would have to be something in writing. It could even be on through the journal, or it could be through a meeting with the job centre that then they record. But I don't think there's a particular exemptions form, but it would have to be recorded in some form, obviously. But there's more and more of the exemptions coming through now because, as I say, they know that they're that inflexible. The system's not going to work for any of either party in a way. So that's the payments to cover the bit. The housing bit we've kind of covered pretty much. There's also cases that I say my view will be that someone should at the beginning of the claim be able to tick a box saying, yes, I want the rate paid direct to me, or no, I want it paid direct to the landlord, but they're not doing that. I mean, they're still stubbornly saying the default should be payments direct to the claimant, and then they manage the money themselves. But that could be changed, and in practice there's a lot of exemptions being given to that. The sanctions while working, part of it, this is also covered to a degree in the in-work benefits leaflet. But it's theoretically, again, this is another big change with universal credit. With the old system, if someone was working but still not earning enough to live on by DWP standards, they will get working tax credits to top up. Now they'll get universal credit top up. But unlike the old system on universal credit, theoretically, someone could be sanctioned for not trying hard enough to get work that takes them their earnings over the monthly minimum wage. So that's the kind of formula in theory. So I forgot what the minimum wage at the moment is, but if it's an hourly sum, and if you times that by
£7.83, £313.20p per week.
So if you times that by 35 and then times it by if you times that by 51 or whatever the monthly total is, if someone is not earning that much, then they could in theory be penalised for sanction for not trying to earn enough money.
But what if they've got children in school and things like that?
Well, that's why it's one of the thorniest bits of the whole reform. And what they seem to be, they've been running these pilot tests on people, and again it's all a bit shrouded in mystery. I've not heard, maybe the whole thing collapsed because I've not heard any results, but there was a pilot where they were actually trying hardline sanctions on people working and claiming universal credit top up, and I've not yet seen any results because you can imagine what uproar it would have come. I'm trying. Don't you think I would be earning more money if I could? That sort of thing. So at the moment, what they're saying, the DWP's line is, they call it it's another one of their jargon, sort of, is light touch. They would say, it's a light touch with claimants if they're claiming top up for in-work benefits, and they're not reaching that monthly level of earnings, then we gradually encourage them, try to ask them to see what are they doing to look for more work
So
or for higher paid work.
Is it more being kind of directed at people that say they're self-employed and then only earn a certain amount? Because that's the person I know is being taken to the tribunal because of it, even though she's got 2-year-old, she's still breastfeeding, as well as 2 other children.
Right.
Or, you know, because that became kind of a bit of a scam, and people thought, well, you could just say, oh, I'm self-employed and I'm only earning this much, and they kind of left you alone and didn't sanction you, as opposed to working part-time.
I've been there, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not aware whether it's been targeted at anyone, as I say. I'm not sure, obviously, your friend's personal circumstance, but I'm not aware as yet as anyone who has been sanctioned under the in-work benefits scheme. And as I say, at the moment, their DWP policy is what they call light touch. So if someone's not reaching that level of earnings, they may phone them up or call them and say, well, what do you think you could be doing to look for more earnings or a higher rate? You know.
So my experience is that someone I know is like because they have to tell whoever that they earned this much money, but then if they earn too much or too little, then they would actually get have to pay it back or not get paid at all.
It's a taper system, and it's a taper system. So, I mean, this is what I don't know. Perhaps we haven't got time, but it'd be interesting to have a debate about whether people think whether you're on the stop and scrap position or stop and reform. But part of the issue is, which again, I'm not a mathematician, but there's ways that they can adjust the taper to make it, a lot fairer on more people, so that they're not paying back too much as they earn more. Because the taper means the more you earn at a certain point, then you'll get a percentage of the top up taken away, and that's never. It's very hard to make that a system where everyone is going to end up being better off. I mean, my understanding is under universal credit with this taper, there'll still be a substantial section of people, particularly in families with, I think, 3 children or more, where most of those will end up being worse off under universal credit. But it's still a small percentage of the overall. Because I think the 2 key principles. Well, I'd say the 2 key principles of universal credit was, one is that it streamlines the claiming system, so that people aren't having to claim 6 different types of benefit or on and off different benefits, which had caused problems in the past. So it streamlines the method, and then change of circumstances means you just type that in and the system adjusts more quickly than having to claim different benefits going on and off. The second principle is supposed to be that no one claiming benefit ends up worse off by working than if they're not working.
But then it depends on how much your rent is, because my friend's rent is 350 quid a week for a 2-bedroom flat. And she's got 3 kids, and they said that even though she's self-employed, that she's not earning enough. She was getting £70, that's all towards her housing benefit, but she's not earning enough for it to be making a profit. That's what they said. I
mean, that, as I say, there'll always be people that are still caught in that called the poverty trap, where to work ends up being less, getting less income than if they were getting benefits. The government are as well. We're doing the best we can, because that was another thing in the November budget. They readjusted the taper to make it supposedly more generous, but that's always a problem in terms of this. It's political as well, about how if you make the taper even more generous, then the taxpayer has to pay more. So there'll always be problems with it. But the theory was, which may have worked, that less people now will be worse off if they're working than before under the benefits system. That's the as I say, I think they could, if they wanted to, make the taper more in line with that principle, so that less and less people are worse off on benefits than if they were working. But as yet, as I say, no one. They keep using this phrase light touch. No one has yet been sanctioned for not trying hard enough to get more hours to bring them up to that monthly minimum wage level. It's what they call light touch. They discuss their situation with them. You could say we're still insulting, but what are they actually going to offer them better work or better paid work? That's unlikely. So that's kind of a cover of universal credit, as it, what I know of it, stated in the leaflet here.